long weekend. Let me start recording before I start forgetting. So, yeah, currently, well, in a little bit of a short positions on NQ, will most likely close it, entered with 5 contracts at 22,309s when they were testing. Just a minute. Yep. All right. So when they were testing this previous highs right here, so the entry was made somewhere around this zone at 309s and stop losses was around this highs at 320. So somewhere around 11 point stops. That was the entry for the short positions and just entered with 5 contracts, closed for just one more runner spending. It'll kick me out when the price hits 49, so 10 more points or 52s around this AV coming from this earnings candle. Depends on what happened, not earnings, Monday's VWAP week to date, and depends on what it does. We'll deal with it from there. All right, so first things first, when it comes to QQQ, hope you guys had a chance to look at the morning notes. It's pretty simple. If you go to the daily charts, you can see QQQ is trading at all-time highs, but when you go to the daily charts of NQ, well, we have a tad bit more to go, around 422,405 towards 22,445. That's the zone I'll be keeping an eye out for. And I just closed my short positions here on NQ and mostly done. All right, so I'll lock my accounts over here. Our markets are open. And when it comes to a firm, pretty simple. And our limit orders are set for a firm at 83 for another 50% of our positions, whatever we have had left open. Depends on what happens there. We will just deal with it down the line. So this will be for a firm. Welcome back, more Mr. Lawrence. Thank you for joining. Welcome back, Rob. Appreciate it. Thank you for joining. All right, so let me consolidate my thoughts really quick. So into today, what we are looking at is Airbnb, and it's typical one of our setups with a breakaway gap. And what we will be looking for into today is to see if the price can get back over this AB gap coming from this gap up candle. We'll give it some time, maybe at least like 10 o'clock to 10:30-ish to see what the price is doing. If they can get back over this VWAP and if they can get back over the ERA VWAP from this gap of candle right here, then we can set up our initial positioning. I want to keep the sizing a little bit lower because Airbnb and me don't have a great history together, if you don't like, because I traded this multiple times before. It always resulted in stoppages because it never does what I wanted it to do. Always reverses back on me. But if the setup is showing up, it's our responsibility to take it. Doesn't matter if it gets stopped out again. So we'll keep an eye out for it, Airbnb. And the next ticker symbol, which we already have on our portfolio, is YUM. Let's see how the price reacts around the 5-day moving average. If they do good, we can add another 0.2% more. Or best thing to do here is anchor the VWAP from this highs. And if they can clear this 148, then we can add more to our positions and move our stop losses towards this 143s and change. That is something we can do. That's what we are planning on doing. That's what I have in mind. We'll wait and see what happens and deal with it down the line. When it comes to SPY, wait for them to fill this gap, and 609, 69-ish, depends on what the price does over there. We'll handle it from there. Same with QQQ as well. If you want some reversal trades to the upside, let them fill this gap at around 538 and change. So let them come back down 538, or let them recover the intraday VWAP. Let the 5-minute ORB form, and then we'll deal with it down the line. This will be for QQQ, and we're waiting for the first 5-minute candle to close so that we can just add the ORB highs and ORB lows and deal with it down the line. I'm not in any positions at this moment, just waiting for it to set up and deal with it down the line. With that being said, and we do have some runners left on IBKR, and by the way, which IBKR is looking at the moment, you can close it if you want to. And I can see we just started doing this live streams for the others chat as well. So if you haven't been involved in IBKR and if you haven't been involved in a firm yet, no need to chase it at this moment. So be patient. I'm pretty sure we'll get more setups down the line. And most of our setups are taken from 9:30 to 11 anyway, so it doesn't really matter. If you missed it, you missed it. Don't chase it here. And we are keeping an eye out for YUM here. Depends on what they do. We'll see. They're testing the 5-day here, and if they recover the VWAP and start pushing up, we'll deal with it down the line. So this will be YUM, a firm we went over at Tesla. I'm pretty sure most of you here traded. It's still under the declining 5-day. No, it's about the 5-day. All right, so pretty simple way to deal with Tesla. Let the first 5 minute candle close. Similar stuff. Mark the ORB highs, mark the ORB lows, and anchor the VWAP to the starting candle. And once the ORB is logged, wait for the price to get back towards the VWAP to see if the buyers are going to step in or not. If they do, well, good for us. We can just take it all the way up towards first area of interest will be at 362s, followed by this 367s and change. It goes against our rules, so still sleeping on runners, so still keeping runners on Roblox. Didn't Roblox just tank like 20% or something after earnings, if I'm not wrong? Well, it's still above our cost average, so it's up to you. We entered somewhere around right here, right? 51 or 52. So went all the way up towards 75, and the earnings, they just tanked all the way towards 60 now, $66. Under the 50, yeah, still above the positive 50-day moving average. So hold on to it until it proves us otherwise. Maybe you can move your stop losses up on your runners towards the $63. Move it towards 63, and if it stops us out, it stops us out. Once the trend starts changing, there's no reason for us to keep holding on towards our runners. Leave it be. So Palantir looking absolutely great. Similar setup, isn't it? Like gap up and go. This is like one type of setup which we trade all the time for anyone who's new. So we need the earnings to be reported, and the stock needs to gap up after the earnings, and then we'll deal with it from there. And Palantir looks great. And the first 5 minute candles are done. So mark the ORB highs and ORB lows as usual. So on QQQ, this will be the ORB highs, the first 5 minute candle highs. If you don't know what ORB means, go to the first 5 minute time frame, and you'll see this candle right here, first 5 minute candle. Mark the highs of that candle, mark the lows of that candle. Highs of that candle will be opening range break high, and lows of the candle will be opening range break lows. If they break the VWAP here on the 2 minute time frame, maybe perhaps you can take a short position with stop losses at that 540 and push it all the way down. But wait and see what the price does near the VWAP here. The range is a bit tight at this moment. Give it some time, let it set up. So this is for Palantir at this point. Well, there is no reason to enter any new positions for swing trades. But if you're day trading, same stuff which we do with QQQ, man. Just mark the ORB highs, mark the ORB lows, and go to the pre-market to see if you can find the pre-market highs and pre-market lows. Let's see. Let's do a real-time analysis right now. So ORB and ORB lows. They're trading at all-time highs. All right, so the first candle is pretty significant. Let's mark the pre-market. So yeah, there's no pre-market lows right there. They're already trading at the highs at the moment. So now all we need to focus on is the VWAP for today. So let them come back down towards the VWAP, and if they find buyers, we can deal with it. So what is the ATR of Palantir? Let's see, $5.73 and closing price. Yeah, they already moved one ATR from the gap up candle, so we'll see if they can hold on towards the VWAP. And if it turns out to be an exhaustion gap, then we need to potentially look for reversals. And Q struggling near the VWAP here, and let's go over NQ really quick. In case of NQ, the overnight lows is sitting right there at 22,200s. That is where we are potentially looking for a downside scenario. I think we spoke about this in the last session, and something to keep in mind when it comes to quantitative analysis. And after Feb 14th, we are technically entering a seasonally bearish months when it comes to the markets. But again, these you have to look at it like how you read carrot cards, right? So it doesn't matter as long as the price agrees with them. Seasonality is just that. So majority of the time, seasonally speaking, after Valentine's Day, the market starts to show weakness leading into the March. So it's how it's been majority of the times. By majority, I mean 80 to 85% of the time. So maybe this can be another 15%, who knows, correct? So let's wait and see. There's no reason to rush into anything. It's one of the main reasons why I don't want to take any QQQ swing trading positions yet, especially at this moment. To the upside, that is. If they can go up, they can go up without me. I can see they're just consolidating between ORB highs and ORB lows. It's pretty things happening. They come back down. I want them to tag this 538s to see what the price does over there and deal with it from there. The only reversal trade I will be interested in, and if they tag this 538s and depends on the reaction, that'll be the gap fill. They'll fill the gap if they can come back down towards this 538s. It depends on what they do there. We can deal with it. So this is for QQQ. And when you go to SPY, if you're trading SPY and not QQQ, well, similar process. Mark the ORB highs, mark the ORB lows, first 5-minute highs and 5-minute lows, that is, and anchor the VWAP to the opening candle. And you can see where the buyer stepped in today, and they're just consolidating between the ORB highs and ORB lows right now. And if we got long at the ORB lows, your stop losses should be at 610.30, but I'm generally not interested in taking this trade at this moment. I'm just going to wait for a while. I'm going to give it some time until at least 10:30-ish to see where the market settles down. It's kind of like my bias is, oh, the market should go lower, but my bias is overpowering the actual price action. There's no reason for me to enter anything. All right, nasty push down on Tesla, huge wick. Similar story behind. If you are looking to enter calls or longs in Tesla for a day trade, wait for them to recover the VWAP. You recover the VWAP, then you will have a nice area to set your stop losses on, which will be this 352, and your entry will be somewhere around 355.80s. Let them close at least 2-minute candles above the VWAP, and if they do so, the targets will be, first target will be this highs at 359, the second will be at 362, so you can just close the entire positions. Today, sector-wise, technology is leading, and which is the laggard. Laggard is consumer staples and XLV healthcare. Bros, yeah, I forgot about that name. Didn't they cap up like massively to the upside? Yes, indeed. They're trading at near all-time highs. Let's see. Yes, indeed. Your AD VAP anchored. Okay, pretty simple way to trade this, to be honest. Since they're trading at all-time highs, well, anchor the VWAP from today, and if they can come back down and find buyers over there near that VWAP, they can just take it. And stop losses should be perhaps around that $81 and change. That's where the stops should be. We'll give it some time. We just set some alerts right here at this anchored VWAP. Crossing. Let's do it. All right, so alert set on intraday VWAP on Bros. And we'll see what the price does. Its intraday VWAP is around 84.85. And if you guys don't understand what I'm talking about, just feel free to ask me. I'll make sure to explain in detail about whatever ORB means or whatever it is. If you don't understand, feel free to ask. No issues at all. All right, so Qs are still chopping around. Let's give it some time. Let's give it some time before entering anything. And if you want to enter some short positions, your stop losses should not be over 611.30-ish on SPY. And if you're trading with QQQ, the stop losses should not be about this highs right here. It's maybe 540.30s. What's the meaning of ORB? ORB stands for opening range break. Why am I typing ORB? Yeah, opening range break. Simple. So, Angelo, I don't think we discussed about ORB in our sessions. We'll talk about it more down the line. This is only for day trading purposes. For swing trades, we don't really care about all these ORBs and all that. All we focus on is the trend, and that we discussed in our sessions before. And this ORB and all this other stuff is purely only for day trades, and it's going to give us the range to watch out for the particular trading session. That's it. What is a VWAP? VWAP, to put it simple, it's going to tell us who's in control of the trend and whether the average buyers are making money or whether the average sellers are making money. If the price is trading above the VWAP, it's telling you that average buyers who bought this opening candle, they are making money. If the price is trading under the VWAP, all it's telling you is the average sellers who shorted the price or who bought a bunch of put options or whatever it is, right? They are making money. VWAP is just telling you the money flow. Who is in control of the money flow for that particular day? If the price is trading under VWAP, sellers are in control. If the price is trading above the VWAP, buyers are in control. Simple as that. And the full form of VWAP is volume weighted average price. If you don't know about it, look into it, and you'll be glad you did. It's one of the most used indicators out there, and even hedge funds, money managers, there is something called as VWAP based trades in there as well when they're buying the long positions for the huge clients. So give it a go. And if you want, if you're into books, the name of the book will be Maximum Trading Gains Using Anchored VWAP, which goes in depth about VWAP in general with multiple examples. Give it a go. The author is Brian Shannon. Let me just put the book in the chat so you can check it out later. So give it a go. I just posted the name of the book over there, so give it a try. And maybe it offers some new perspective to you when it comes to trading. And of course, the indicators which you use doesn't determine the profitability at the end of the day. And the profitability and consistency comes from position sizing and how we manage our risks. Well, there we go to the downside, breaking down. And let's see, SPY will fill the gap if they hit that 609.72s, and Qs will fill the gap if they hit that 538.20. What is IWM doing? It's been a while. Russell, what you up to? It's still being an absolute dickhead is what it's doing absolutely nothing, underperforming the broader markets. There's absolutely no reason to be involved in this. All right, so on Russell, I have a few VWAPs anchored, and the first one is on November 6th. That's the gap up which happened after election. If you're looking to take long positions on IWM, we need the price to get back over at least 228. I have 10 shares at 83, 81. When do you add more shares? If you want to add more on bros, let them come back towards this anchored VWAP, which is at 82, 88, and find some buyers from there. Then we can add it. For now, leave the runners do the work for you, or initial positions do the work for you. Or you can give it a go if they come back down to run a test towards today's VWAP at $85 and change. For now, I'm just waiting. There's no reason for me to enter it right here. Better for me to wait for them to come back down towards the VWAP and then take a go from there. What is Airbnb doing? All right, glad we didn't open any positions on this one. Jesus. Let them get back over 161. Set some price alerts at around right here, 162 and change. For Airbnb, the price alerts are set at 162. If they can clear 162, then and only then I'm interested in opening any positions on the same until that happens. Absolutely no reason to open anything. Yes, it's Airbnb. What is our favorite from doing them pulling back? It should be pulling back because QQQ is pulling back. Yes, of course. Firm is pulling back. YUM flat. We'll see how it goes. All right, QQQ fill the gap. Let's keep an eye out on what it does down the line. SPY, we still got a few more cents to go. Maybe another 30 cents. If SPY will fill the gap as well. We need to see some buyers right here. If they are not seeing any buyers, then there's no reason to front run anything at this moment. And the Q is negative. Let's take a look at if we can find any areas of interest on NQ at this moment. Well, if they continue to fall apart, NQ, I will be watching out for those 22,108s to 22,050s. If you're trading futures, that is. And if you're looking for reversal trades, 22,104 to 22,052. So that's a 50-point range, I understand. But when it comes to QQQ, that will be equivalent to, I believe we are looking at, let's see. 30 minutes. 5 o'clock, 30. Yep, maybe we're looking at the 536 zones in case of a continuation. If I want a reversal trade, this area is what we're looking for right here. Let me just mark this zone on QQQ. If you don't trade futures and if you trade QQQ, We're looking for this area right here. 536.30 all the way towards 535.87. All right, let's see. So bro's doing well, made progress. Good job, Leroy. GLW sounds like a familiar name. $52 and looks like a solid uptrend. What is the volume though? Decent volume as well. And let's see about the 20, 50, and 200-day moving average. The only thing which is concerning me right here on this chart is, do you see this massive red candle on the daily? That is typically a reversal candle. So I would be a tad bit cautious with this name. Doesn't mean it can't go higher. It's still looking good. And the sellers who shorted this up top, average sellers, are still losing money because if I anchor the VWAP to this candle right here, the price is still above it. But whenever you see these massive candles, huge red candle from the top to bottom where the price opens with a gap up and completely gives up and closes at the lows of the day, be a bit cautious and wait until the price proves you otherwise. And it'll be better to leave this one alone, especially if you're looking for longs at this moment. Yes, I understand it satisfies all our rules and it's about the 5-day moving average from the looks of it. Yep, and about 20, 50, and 200. But something to ask yourself is it worth putting my money or capital at risk? Let it prove you otherwise. And if it goes above and beyond, it can go above and beyond without us, because you can see where they rejected it as well, rejected the price at nearly around this 70% retracement area of this huge red candle. If you're going to enter, there are two ways to deal with this. If you still want to be a part of this trade right here to the upside, ATR is $1.40. So if you subtract 52.60, $1.40, 51.20. So you can enter with the stop loss is 51.20-ish, around this zone right here. This will be your stop loss. If you're wrong, which means you'll know that the price broke under this AVWAP from the huge red candle right here, and also broke under the 5-day moving average, also broke under the 20-day moving average, well, your entry is bad, you're wrong, and you can just always come back and look for re-entry later. But for now, at this moment, if you want to take this trade, wait for them to recover the VWAP at least for intraday. You can see they're having a down day today, or flat day. They opened at the highs at around 52.99. So let them recover the VWAP for the day, or at least wait for the 2-minute time frame or 5-minute time frame. Go to that and wait for the 2-minute candle or 5-minute candle to close above the VWAP. Keep the total risk down to 0.4%. What I mean by that is, let's say you take this trade and you get stopped out. If you get stopped out, you shouldn't be losing more than 0.4% of your entire portfolio. That's what I meant. So that risk, if you're trading, or 0.4 or 0.5%, doesn't matter. If you're trading with a $2,000 account, or if you're trading with a $20,000 account, doesn't really matter. Keep the risk to 0.4%. And as it continues to start working in your favor, which means provided they clear this 54.29, then you can average up on your position and bring your risk up to like 1% or 1.5%. Let it prove you otherwise. Until then, keep the sizing down and then slowly average up into it as it starts working in your favor. Two ways of dealing with this. This is one way, low risky way, so that even if you're wrong, you won't be losing more than 0.4% of your entire portfolio. And if you're right, you can always average up down the line to increase your positions, thereby increasing the possible money which you'll be making with lower risk down the line. So something to keep in mind. This is how I will potentially approach this. If I want to buy this, if I buy this right here, my stop losses will be at 51.40s or 51.20s. And even if I get stopped out, I'll make sure that I won't be losing more than 0.4% of my entire account. And if it starts working in my favor, I will make sure to average up onto this trade so that I'll be having more money. I'll be having like, I can make more money down the line as the trend starts showing changes. Simple. Can't formulate a sentence today for some reason. Jesus Christ. All right. Forgot to send you a look at SOC. Let's see. SOC is looking nice, man. Let's see. About 15, 200. Looking good. Nice gap up on the daily as well. Weekly. Absolutely beautiful looking chart. Let's take a look at volume. Almost 1 million, not bad. And this is a good looking name, by the way, Leroy. This is good. I like this one. You can perhaps, what's the ATR on this? $2. Holy fuck. Maybe at around 29.34 stop loss. You can enter this right here and you can just set your stop loss at 28.80s perhaps. This goes for anyone, by the way. Like, this is a good looking name and it's about the positive 5-day moving average, good looking chart. And maybe start with a 0.4% risk and then slowly average up on the same down the line. That is going to help you. If you average up on it down the line, it needs to clear this $32 zones. If it can clear the $32 zones and consolidate above for quite some time, you'll wait for the 5-day moving average to catch up to the price. And by what 5-day moving average, in my screen, do you see this blue line? For anyone who's new, this blue line is the 5-day moving average, and all it's telling you is the actual momentum of the stock for the last 5 trading days. So we need, if you're swing trading anything, you need that momentum to be positive for the last 5 trading days. So what you're technically doing is you're just joining into that momentum. You're just buying into the momentum and you're just going to take it all the way back up. So we're technically buying high and selling higher. That's what we're doing, not buying low, selling high. So with, in case of SOC, if you want to establish your startup positions right here, your stop losses should be at $28.80, initially speaking. And as it continues to keep pushing up and as the 5-day moving average catches up to the price, you can always add more to it. So when will you average up? Let's say they come back down towards this $30.18 and then start bouncing back up and recovers the VWAP. That's where you add more. And there are different ways of averaging up, but for now, stick with the startup positions because we don't know what the markets are going to do leading into the upcoming weeks. And by the looks of it, SOC doesn't give a damn about what the markets are doing. What's the alert? Bros. Okay. Bros alert just went off. We'll get back to it. It's just 9:55. Let it sit up for a while. So are we talking about buying actual stock or options? If it is an option, I'll specifically mention it's an option. And unless it's mentioned, always it's stocks. That's it. It'll be very rare for us to trade options. We're talking about like 9 to 10 trades for the entire year. That's how much we trade when it comes to options. The less we trade, the better, more money we make. And we're typically very picky when it comes to these option trades. Trading options on a daily basis do you more harm than good, especially if you're a beginner trader. So when you're learning, stick to shares, and you're going to come across some exceptional setups down the line, by the way, where like a stock can move 30, 40, $50 from the entry. So it's been almost 2 months. 2 months is done for this year. I took one option trade for this entire year so far. That is on IBKR. IBKR, we entered the option trade somewhere around this 202. I believe it's the same time when we entered our stock position as well. So the average entry was around 207. We completed our positions. And right now the price is trading at 233. So these are the type of setups which you need to be involved in when it comes to options. It's very rare to see these types of setups showing up now and then. So since that is very rare, we are going to be very picky as well when it comes to taking our option trades. So the risk is significantly higher when it comes to these options. So I tend to be very, very picky. So unless and until I mention it's an option trade, always assume it's shares. That's it. Simple. With that being said, SOC looks great. 2880 stocks, perhaps. Let me add it to the watch list. So good eye, Lira. Appreciate it. Thank you for letting me know about this name. Completely flew on my radar. Let's add it to the ER place. So initial position, 0.4% risk. If you don't know how to calculate what 0.4% risk is, I'm going to share an Excel sheet into the Zoom chat right now. So go ahead, check it out. That's going to be the position sizing calculator. So just plug in your account size and put the risk tolerance at 0.4%, your entry and your stop loss. The entry on this will be 3150, stop loss will be at 2880s. Just plug it in and it's going to tell you exactly how much shares you need to be buying for your account size, that even if you're wrong, you won't be losing more than 0.4% of your entire portfolio, from initially speaking, at least. So, all right, Affirm. I'm always getting confused between this Uber and Affirm. Let me just pull it all the way back because they both trade at the exact same cost. And okay, Affirm $80.40. All right, interesting. So yeah, I just shared the position sizing calculator in the chat right here. So go ahead, check it out. If you have any questions on how to insert the values in there, feel free to reach out and I will be more than happy to help you guys out. So with that being said, QQQ, what are you doing? I'm doing absolutely nothing. Testing the ORB highs, testing the VWAP. If you enter the short positions into the open, this won't be a bad time to start trimming, I guess. Like you should have already gotten out of it, but we're testing the VWAP here. If they can get back over this 538, this is what the ORB is back testing, by the way. If you draw the first 5-minute high and lows, this is going to give you the low risk entry for put options. So you can just set your stop losses at 539s and let the things do the work for you. If you get stopped out, your risk is minimal. But if you're right, you're going to be capturing this move towards 536. Just observe for today, and you can make these decisions on your own rather than relying on me, is what I'm trying to say. To notice something, how the price reacted from this ORB highs at 538.96 all the way towards this 538.20s. If you are a scalper who are only looking for these quick snipes, you can get these ones now and then. So it's pretty decent. You can just get in, get out instantly. If you have no idea what ORB means, let me share the video explaining the same on how it works. Lady, hey Mario, this video is gonna. Yes, I did not forget to record today. This is recorded. It'll be posted. All right, let me take a look at this ORP. Where is it? Where is it? Michael Noss. I know what, we can just look it up. Let's see. ORP. It's the video now. I think it should be open range break. What's going on? Multiple presentations to share. Not yet. Why can't I type? What the hell? There we go. All right, so I'm just gonna share this in the Zoom chat so you guys can check it out down the line. Where can we access all the recordings? All right, Rishi, if you are from the Chris Saints chat, which is, let me just show you guys how to do the same. And if you guys shorted that ORB, you can technically see what happened with the price. So this is how the ORB typically works. You can see the price tag the ORB lows, and the target is at 536. And next time when you see these types of setups, feel free to take the risk. And don't worry about being right and being wrong. You don't know what's going to happen. So if you keep doing the same thing over and over again with a low risk profile, money is going to automatically follow. And with that being said, like to the downside, 536-ish is going to be the target for the Qs if you got the put option at the ORB lows. 2 hours at the break and retest of the ORB lows. Beautiful. This is what I'm talking about. So in order to access these recordings, just go to the Discord and let's see, share. Hope you guys can see the screen and open. And if you're from Chris Saint's chat, the recordings will be posted under the Mario's tab right here. And if you're from my server, the recordings will be posted right here under the live stream recordings. So go ahead, give it a go, and I will post it once the processing of the recording is done. To the browser. So on NQ, this move right here from the VWAP, we're talking somewhere around 70-ish points, by the way. So 70-point move on NQ, and if you took it with put options, that's still almost like a $1.50 move on QQQ as well. Decent trade, and $1.50 move by just risking 50 cents with stop losses. Well, that's what I call a good low risk entry, by the way. So pretty decent. Great job, man. DKNG should set up pretty soon. Really? Let's take a look. It's been a while since I've taken a look at this. 55? Weren't they trading at $80 or something before? Or am I tripping? Yeah. So somewhere around 2021, my bad. Yep. Okay, so typical earnings gap up, interesting chart. Testing the ERA VWAP here, interesting. So let them clear the intraday VWAP then. And if you're looking at it, we need this to get back over 52.33, and maybe we can set up our initial positions there. The only thing which is concerning is boop, boop, neckline. So as long as they don't break this neckline, this is looking phenomenal. But if they break this neckline, I'm gonna run far away. Not interested. Terribly not interested. So let them clear this. Let them clear the intraday VWAP at around 52.33. Trend is great. As long as they hold on towards this neckline. If they bounce, you need to see them clear this right here. This high is at 53.42. You have to clear that. If they can't, it's just showing you rejections after rejections, and especially after a strong move to the upside, when the price is rejecting the same place twice. This is what we call as double topish, by the way. So double top on the shorter time frames, but we'll see. It's as long as the neckline is not broken, the pattern is not validated yet. So if the neckline is broken, well, there's no point in entering. It's still under the VWAP anyway, so there's no point in taking that. LMT and what the hell is this? All right, let's take a look. LMT. Yesterday I looked at LMT, it was looking like absolute trash, and it still do. Why will you buy this? Looks like absolute garbage. 50 is downwardly sloping, 20 moving averages downwardly sloping, it's under the 200, it's under all the major moving averages. And plus, I don't like to be involved in names which just randomly goes up or down because it hurts somewhere someone is dying. So this name is really annoying to trade, number one. And regardless of my bias over it, it's still in a nasty downtrend. Well, they are testing an area of interest right here at around this 413 and change, and I can understand why you're thinking it might be a good low risk entry right here, but I would much rather buy this all the way once they get back over this let's see. Once they get back over this 515 and change, rather than buying it right here at this moment. I don't want to play guessing games on this one. Downtrend, guilty until proven innocent. I'd much rather buy this way higher once the buyers start taking control, at least when you see the first lower high log on a shorter time frame. You know, when the trend is reversing, you'll see a higher highs and higher lows on the shorter time frames. Do you see it on the daily? No, you don't. What do you see on the daily? Right here, you see a high, lower high, lower high, lower high, and lower lows, lower lows, lower lows, lower lows. There's absolutely no indication that the buyers are stepping in at this moment. Let them step in, and we're not gonna achieve anything by timing the bottom exactly to the point. That's not the goal. The goal is to make money, not to time the bottoms in the markets or calling the tops in the markets. Hey, you can be right. If you want to enter right here, you can just set your stop losses at 417s, but I'm gonna wait for a while on this one. At least let them log a higher low first from a shorter time frames and show us that the buyers are stepping in. Then we can be more comfortable getting into the same name. It still goes against every single one of my metrics when I'm buying something, because if I'm buying something, I need the 50-day moving average and 20-day moving average and 200-day moving average, and the stock price needs to be trading above all of them. This goes against every single one of my rules. So I'm not going to touch this regardless, but that doesn't mean there's no trade in this. I'm pretty sure some of you in here are reversal traders who likes to trade the reversals from the downtrend. That's one way of trading as well. Nothing against it. So if you want to trade it, there is this demand zone right here at around 414 to 422. This zone, which I'm talking about, let me just remove all the lines so I can it's more clear. If you go to the monthly time frame or weekly time frame, you can see the zone perfectly right here. These, yep. So 426 to 414, and if you go to the weekly, you can see it exactly why that area of interest is important. Maybe you can drag it a little bit down. We'll hit a daily properly. Yep, there is a huge gap down under towards like 401s. So we'll see if they're gonna hold on towards this 430s or gonna come back down to fill this gap at 400s and then reverse to the upside. See, again, There's absolutely no way of knowing. Better to leave it alone. Let the markets prove you otherwise, and then you can enter. Maybe tomorrow we'll get a news on this thing just caps up 460 or something and make me eat my own words, but it doesn't really matter. And what's the next one, Chia? CLF. Hope that makes sense, by the way. Like, I don't trade these types of names, which is in a downtrend. And when it comes to CLF, well, they report earnings recently. They report earnings on Feb 24th. Are they in an uptrend at least? Let's see. Declining 50, declining 200. You can keep it on the watch list and wait for them to report their earnings. Maybe if they gap up over $13, that's going to give us an entry. Okay, Upstart alert went up. Holy crap. Keep an eye out for Upstart here. Alert on Upstart just went up. Alert on Airbnb just went up. Let's see. We can potentially get into Airbnb right here, by the way. Just let me take a look. Upstart, Airbnb, Bros, all these three alerts just went. Let's see. I'm just going to trim some of my affirm positions right here and then add it into me. Okay, now we need to gauge the odds. Airbnb looks great. Upstart looks great. And what else is looking great? Bros is looking great, but I can't be in all three of them and I have to pick one. Which one should I pick? Okay, Bros is trading at all-time highs, better odds, better trend, better strength. Okay, so that's fine. So Upstart, are we trading at all-time highs on Upstart? Let's see. Not really, because I remember Upstart is trading. Upstart all-time highs is somewhere around $400 or something, but still a great looking chart. Upstart is also good, but not at all-time highs, but there's still a lot of hurdles to clear if they want to get there. A lot of bag holders in this name since 2021, so which might potentially cost the stock to consolidate for a while before pushing higher. So this is Upstart and Airbnb, same case. They have a fairly decent supply zone at 165 to 170. If I want to pick one in these three names, I would much rather go with Bros, but that doesn't make the other two a bad setup. Both of them are pretty decent. Bros, if I enter right here, where will I set my stop losses? At around 81. Because the VWAP and now they're bouncing, and the ATR is $5 or something, right? If I'm not wrong. $3.71. My entry is at 86.50, and if my stop losses is at $81, yeah, that works. I can go with Bros. All right, so I am buying the initial positioning for Bros right here. Let's see. It's all shares, by the way. Maybe let's start with a small 0.4% risk and then slowly average up down the line. All right, so stop losses on the shares will be 81.50, and the entry price cost average at this moment is 86.53. So that's the cost average, and initial sizing, initial risk is 0.4% only, which means if I'm wrong, I won't be losing more than 0.4% of my entire portfolio. So once the 5-day moving average catches up to the price. So what we're technically doing here is just testing the waters. So if they continue to push higher, our 0.4% risk is still going to make us money. But if they consolidate here for a while and wait for that 5-day moving average to catch up to the price, that's going to give us an opportunity to add more to our positions and complete our positions. The stop loss stays at 81.50, and let me just send it out to the people because I know most of you guys are working 9 to 5. Rows, odds 81.50, sizing. Ratio right now, most of us are occupied with the firm, and firm 0.6 right now should be at 0.3. YUM should be at 0.4 as well. They can do 0.4. Yeah, let's do it. I think risk is 0.4%. So if you have no idea what I mean about any of this, just by when I say risk is 0.4%, that's how much percentage of my portfolio I will lose if the stock just collapses towards $81 tomorrow and stops me out. That's all it is. So if that happens, I wouldn't lose more than 0.4% of my entire portfolio. If you want to check what 0.4% of your portfolio is, just go to the position sizing calculator, which I sent in the Zoom chat a while back. Let me see if I can pin it. Can we pin things in Zoom chat? Is it possible? I don't think so, right? Can we? No? Yeah, no. Well, that sucks. All right, so it should be in the Zoom chat right about, and I'm just gonna post it again. Fuck it. There's no point in asking people to scroll all the way back up. Doesn't matter. I just shared it again, so you should find it. So just put the risk tolerance as 0.4, and it doesn't matter if that 0.4% is just 2 shares, by the way. 2 shares or 3 shares if you're trading with a small account. That's all you're buying, because we are only focused on how much you're going to lose on this one, not how much you're going to make. We're just testing the waters. Let the setup come to us. Let's give it some time. Then we can deal with it down the line. Firm is flat for the day. YUM flat for the day. Tesla, on the other hand, let's see. Did they recover the VWAP? Yes, they did. Tesla recovered the VWAP, great. And also, typical ORB trade, by the way, on Tesla as well. So go to the Tesla. Pretty simple. You can look it up on your own. Go to Tesla, go to the 5 minute time frame, and you see a massive wick on that 5 minutes where they pushed all the way up and then pulled all the way back. Mark the lows of that candle and highs of that candle on the 5 minute time frame, as you see in my screen right here. So you can see the highs of the first 5 minute and lows of the first 5 minute. That's going to be ORB highs and ORB lows. Where did the buyer step in over and over and over? Today. They tested the ORB lows, found buyers, pushed up, broke down, found buyers again at the ORB lows, pushed up. Now they're trading about the VWAP. So if you're going to buy calls, where should be your stop losses? Your stop losses should be right here at 353, which was this lows right here. And if you're wrong, you're wrong. Again, you're going to be wrong 60% of the time of you taking the trades, by the way. But when you're right, you need to make sure at least you're making 3 times your stop losses in profit every single time, so that even with a win rate of just 40%, you're still going to beat the crap out of the markets. That's all that matters at the end of the day. So let's see how the price reacts around the VWAP on Tesla. And for Tesla to cooperate, we need QQQ to cooperate. So we can't have QQQ falling off the cliff and expect Tesla to do wonders. It happens. It happened before. If you traded Tesla, you would know Tesla sometimes have a mind of its own. Doesn't give a crap about what the markets are doing, but that's not the case all the time. So we'll see. We're just going to consolidate. Just give it some time. Wait and see what the price does. We can deal with it down the line. BBAI. It's a cheap stock, but who the hell is that Asian guy Lee? I don't care if Asian guy Lee is buying it. Let's take a look at it though. I don't even know who that is, man. But this pretty sure it's under the 5 day moving average. Oh, Tom Lee. Okay, got it. Okay, Tom Lee. Got it. Okay. Should have just said it, man. Hell. Venture Capital, right? The owner of Venture Capital, if I'm not wrong. Still in an uptrend, pretty sure, but trading under the 5 day moving average. Let it get back over. I'll get back over the 5 day. We'll deal with it. What's the weekly time frame looking like? These should be about the IPO VWAP as well. The best case scenario for this one, they are rejecting the closing candles of that first trading day right here, which is at around close of that first IPO trading day. Well, we'll give some time for it to set up, and it's good that they're pulling back. It's going to give us an opportunity to enter the trade down the line. So let them clear the 5 day moving average. Maybe set some price alerts right here at the 5 day moving average. And if they clear it, we're going to know that time is near. EXPE. Let's see. Didn't they gap up as well? Expedia. Looks good, but the 5-day MA is kind of sloping to the upside, but that is because of this right here. This move, which you see all the way down, the 5-day is sloping down because of this. When the next day happens, they will just wipe out this move and start focusing on this move only. So we will see right now on Expedia, it's mostly gonna coincide. The best way to deal with it is just wait for them to close today, because you can see they opened under this ERA VWAP here today. Let them close the daily candle, perhaps. If they can close about 200, that'll be great. And we can just enter tomorrow. And is it at all-time highs? Yeah, so we do have a bunch of BS here. If they can continue, we can sell most of our positions at 217s and change, and then just leave some runners on the table. That's gonna be great. 213 to 217 will be the area of interest. All right, we'll wait for daily close, Josh, and we'll deal with it. And it's a good-looking name. Let me just add to the watch list, and we can deal with it down the line. We can add bros into the watch list as well. And if I average up on bros, I would definitely let you guys know. But for now, just initial signs, and no reason to make any changes. 0.4% risk. That's it. It's on my watch list, Carvana. It's in the ORB next to the wick one. No, 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 no. It's the first candle. That's what we're talking about. The first 5-minute candle, highs and lows. That's the ORB. So you can either go for the 15-minute time frame. Some people go for the 15-minute time frame ORB. Some people go for the 5-minute time frame ORB. But if you're just day trading or scalping, 5 minutes will just do you enough good. So don't have to go for the 15 minutes, but doesn't matter. It's the same. For 15 minutes, if you draw the ORB, it'll be at 359 to the upside and 352 to the downside. That's going to be the 15-minute ORB, the highs and lows of the first 15-minute candle for the day. Yeah, if you think that's bad, check out APP. The last time we traded, the APP was at around $48. Right now, it's at almost 400. Check it out. This is APP, by the way. The last time I traded APP was around 2024, February or March last year. So right, the price has gone up somewhere around like what, 100,000%. Why is it so high? Doesn't matter. It got high. That's all that matters. Just the last time, so you can see the anchored VWAPs on my screen on the last time I traded this, around $84. Yeah, there you go. August of 2024. Where was it anchored? May 2024. Yeah. It gave us so much trouble back then, and then just ripped to the upside from $80 to 496. Good chart though. And this, we already have it on the watch list. So anchor the VWAP to today's candle. If they can clear this anchored VWAP, then we can establish the initial positions. This will be for APP. We already have this one on the watch list, so we'll just wait for them to recover the VWAP. They're tagging the ERA VWAP here as well. Let's see. Holding at board 75. Great job, man. Donza, what you got? Best dividend growth stock, passive dividend income. Well, the way I look at it is a bit different. And if the stock which I'm holding is in a downtrend, but it pays a lot of dividends, the money which I lose by holding that stock will be greater than the money which I receive by them just for dividends. At that time, it doesn't make sense if you're getting a lot of dividends, because you're losing money from your initial investment anyways. So the best way to deal with this is just go to the scanners, and you can see a lot of dividend names in there, and sort out the names which is in an uptrend, which is in an uptrend and also pays decent dividends. For instance, I believe Main should be in an uptrend, correct? Yeah, Main $61. Yeah, for a stock like Main, for instance, right? Main was about 20-day moving. Main is about 20-day moving average, 50-day moving average, 200-day moving average, and it also pays a decent dividends, and it also makes you money on your initial investment. these are the type of names that you want to be. Like when we swing trade QQQ, mostly we hold them for like multiple weeks straight. And when they pay us, like usually these types of names pay us dividends on most of our swing trades, by the way. If you've been trading with me for quite some time, we got dividends from most of the names which we traded. So don't buy nasty looking downtrends just because they give you dividends, when in reality you will be losing more on your initial investment. But the dividends which you get won't cover for the losses which you take from that initial investment going down the drain. This is what we call as dividend trap, by the way, and a lot of traders fall for it because, like, let's say they bought a stock at $200. Right now, the stock is trading at $100. You just lost 50% of your initial investment. But hey, at least they pay me like 50 cents a share for a dividend. Like, what? You're still losing money. And you know how long it takes for the stock to go up another, like, if you lose 50%, you need to make back somewhere around like 100 to 200% just to break even, by the way. That is not fun. Most of the time, the stock which loses 50% of the value, it's going to take a long time to get back to the new all-time highs. We're talking about years. So is it worth holding on to a name with your money tied up on something and then like just convincing yourself that they pay dividends? Absolutely not. So I said, go. Yeah, Maine is good. Maine is looking good. If you're looking for a dividend growth, which is an uptrend, Maine is looking good. And if they start changing the trends, the only risk with Maine is if they come up with a statement saying that we're going to cut the dividends. If they do that, the stock is fucked. It's gone. You'll see like 30, 40% drop in the same day. I think that's, if you traded AT&T before, that's what happened with AT&T. AT&T used to be AT&T used to pay a lot of dividends before, by the way, and then they came up with the news saying that, oh, we're not going to pay that much dividends anymore, and then the stock just completely collapsed to the ground. I think this is where it happened, if I'm not wrong. Right here. Where is it? During 2021, somewhere. Around here. Yep. July 2022 and change. Not sure about the exact date, but if you see the massive gap down right here, went all the way down and, well, it made a low of almost $13. It's one of the best. Yeah, exactly. ABP testing. Yeah, Josh, we just checked it. So wait for them to clear the intraday VWAP. Until they clear it, no need to get involved yet. Can you explain ORB and how you use it? Well, sure. Let's take a look at Tesla. For now, when you're using, yesterday I had a class with someone and they were asking me about the EMAs, and this topic came up. Every indicators have their advantage, every indicators have their disadvantages, correct? So for instance, VWAP absolutely sucks when the markets are chopping around. Same with EMAs. EMAs are not fun to use when the markets are just chopping around, because you'll be buying when the stock is hitting a particular EMA and it just melts right through it, because EMAs works great when it comes to trendy markets. When the markets are trending in one direction, EMAs works absolutely phenomenal. But when the markets are just chopping around, EMAs don't work as we think it does. So in order to counteract that, how can we do it? So if the market is chopping around, like today, Tesla is just chopping around, right? They just range bound. So how can we counteract? So you be buying it because they got back over the VWAP, and then immediately the next candle flushes right through it. And again, you'll be buying it again once they got back over the VWAP, and now we are down back down again. How can we counteract this weakness with this VWAP or EMAs? This is where ORB steps in. ORB is nothing but you're marking the range of the first 5-minute candle, and once the range is broken either to the upside or to the downside, you're going to wait for them to back test it and then buy or sell into that weakness or strength. For instance, take QQQ today. It's had a solid, clean ORB trade. So right here, if you go to the 5-minute time frame on QQQ, do the exact same thing. Go to the 5-minute time frame, mark the ORB highs and ORB lows. So let me be very clear, and let me just remove the extended lines, and also you can see exactly where the ORB highs is. And right here where the ORB lows is. All right. So once the price broke under the ORB lows, what happened? You can see them going back, running a test exactly to a penny towards this ORB lows at around 539s. What happened to the price after that? They just completely reversed. This is where when we're talking about, like, if you want to go short, it won't be a bad place to do so, with the stop losses somewhere around like 539.50 and change. This is what we call as low risk entries, by the way. If you're wrong, you're wrong, which means like you're going to lose somewhere around like 30 cents on options. If you're taking in the money option with a delta of 0.70 or 0.60, you'll be losing like somewhere around like $40. That's it. $40 per contract. That'll be the risk. Now the stock price went down somewhere around $3 from that entry. These are the type of trades that you need to be looking for, correct? Low risk entries. If you win, you win. If you lost, you lose less. Simple. So this is an example of ORB. Like if, for example, another example will be price breaking above it. Let's say QQQ broke above this ORB. We'll see something like some sort of a consolidation above the ORB highs and then push through. If that happens, your entry will be right here at that push through and your stop losses will be a few cents under this lows right here. So I believe FaZe did a whole video on how to trade the ORB in the chat, and it should be there in the server. You can check that out, and he goes over examples on which different time frames he uses to take the trades and which time frames he uses to avoid it and all this other stuff. Check it out. So that's when I'm day trading, that's exactly what I do. So 1 ORB, 2 VWAPs, 3 price actions, nothing else. These 3 alone, and keep doing it over and over and over by managing the position sizing and manage your positions properly. Well, there you go. Your consistency is right there. And don't get me wrong, my win rate is not no more than like somewhere around 53% or something, by the way. That's it. Which means for every 100 trades I take, I get stopped out on 47 of them. I only win on 53. Well, but the PNL is still positive. Why? Because the average winners are always 2 to 3 times higher than that of the average losers. Simple as that. It should be in the channel. Let me just share that video, like, because he just spoke about it before, and I don't want to repeat the same thing here because you have a detailed information there. You can just go and check those out. So I just gave you a basic introduction on what it is. It's just the highs and lows of the 5-minute candle. Let me see. He posted the recording for yesterday's class. If I come across, I'll just post it, man. How about that? All right. Just looking in the chat, and if I come across it, let me post it. I don't want to waste everyone's time, and I'm looking for something else right here. So Tesla testing the ORB lows again, and we will see what happens. Win percentage don't really matter as long as win rate on its own is one of the most useless metrics out there. I have a win rate of 80%. Well, that doesn't tell me anything. What's your risk to reward ratio? That matters more. Win rate without risk to reward ratio means absolutely nothing because it doesn't tell you anything. Markets are being a bit rough today. Oh wait, let me see the chat. Like a lot of names I saw. AXP on the watch as well. What do you think? Let's see. AXP is a part of Dow Jones, man. That's the only thing which is kind of declining 5 immediately. Not ready yet, of course, but let's see the daily. It's been a while since I looked at the name. Why should AXP be on the watch again? This is not looking good at all. Like declining 5-day. Yeah, I see why. Okay, got it. Gap up. Still under the ERAV VWAP, but the problem with this right here is 1, it's the part of Dow Jones. 2, well, we are entering into a seasonally not so good month when it comes to the markets. And 3, well, there is a distribution phase right here and price is just giving back, and I would much rather wait for them to prove me wrong. Maybe perhaps let them get back over this 316 and change, and we can take it. By the time perhaps maybe the 5-day moving average will start sloping to the upside, and then we can deal with it. So that is something we can do. And just so you guys know, the limit sell on a firm is set at $83, by the way. When it comes to 83, I will get rid of 50% of my other positions and move the stop losses on the runners towards the $79.80. So we initially we had 0.6%, we trimmed 0.3% at $80 last Friday. We'll be trimming 0.15% right now at $83. And finally, we'll be having just 0.15% left on our portfolio as a risk, total risk. So that we won't be losing 0.15% because it's not going to go all the way towards 68, and we're not going to hold on until it goes to $68 to stop us out. We are going to move our stop losses towards 79.80s. If it stops us out over there, well, it's almost like what, from $74 to $83 with a $4 risk. We're talking about almost 2.5-hour trade. Pretty decent. SMCI has declining 200, man. I'm absolutely not interested yet. Let them clear it. We can deal with it down the line. Wait for the daily close. It's going to tell us a story. I spoke about DKNG recently, didn't we? So if they reclaim the ERA VWAP, then we can, then and only then we're interested. I think we just spoke about it, about the potential DT here, like poop, poop, poop. And they're breaking under the neckline as well, which is not good. And it was bought up. I think Leroy is the one who bought it up before. And we need this to get back over this trend line, or else we will be looking for a firm, decent enough drop. Let's see until where. Measure the move from neckline to there and drop it all the way down. And we are looking at a drop maybe towards this $48. Did live happen on trend alignment yet? Not yet, Josh. Not yet. Maybe this week we did. You already know what it means, Josh, but I'll go in detail on the same. So it might be helpful for you as well. We'll let you guys know. Trend alignment is nothing but multiple conflicts, by the way. So we already talked about it multiple times, but when you see it with examples, it might be helpful. CJ, don't rush into DraftKings yet. So let them clear this $52, then we can deal with it. Because if you see the 5-minute time frame or the 30-minute time frame, this is not something which you need to see, by the way, if you're bullish. You see that they went all the way up to run a test towards this $53, pull back. Went all the way up again. Well, the nasty rejection from there. Now we have this double topish sort of pattern. Maybe it's gonna, if they play out, we'll see 48 soon. And if they see that, if they get there, we'll deal with it. Or we need this to get back over $52 to even consider new positions on the same. So I think we should keep an eye on something I've already discussed it. DraftKings, nice, and Envis, James, welcome back. Take a look. NBIS. Why does this name sound familiar? Did we trade this before? Let's get confused between this and NNE. When did we trade this? Completely fine. Was it a good trade? Did we make money out of it? Let's see. I have to look it up. Invis. Ah, yeah, looks like it made us money. Stopped on Invis. What the fuck? Okay, let's see. It looks like we made money. Have multiple VWAPs here. All right, so right now at this moment, let's see, it doesn't matter if we made money or not, but at this moment, they're testing the declining 200-day moving average, which is currently at $51 and change. Similar to whatever I said to SMCI holds true for NBIS as well. So it had a nice rally all the way from $27 to $48. If you haven't gotten involved at this time, what's the point in getting involved right now? Where will you set your stop loss? There's no place to set the stop loss, and they're directly coming in contact with the 200-day moving average. That's almost a 97% move from the lows without any break, by the way. And that move happened in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, somewhere around 2.5 weeks. 97% move in 2.5 weeks. And if you haven't bought into it yet, there's no reason to buy into it now. And watch out for what the price does over here near the 200-day moving average. If they pull back, well, watch out for a higher low. That's what we will be paying attention to. So let us see what else we got. Do you guys have any other questions for me at this moment? So right now, the only positions that we established in this live is, no, not Tokyo. What's that? Bros. Sorry, Dutch Bros. Bros with an initial sizing is all we did for this live today. And the update on AFRM is already given, $83. If it gets there today, good for us. We can just close it, call it a day. This will be AFRM. And YUM, the longer it consolidates, the better it is because it's still trading above the 5-day moving average. We'll wait and see. Right now we have like 0.4%. I would much rather prefer it if they come down towards just 144.80s again before ramping up. That will be great. But again, then what we don't always get what we want. So we need to adapt if they start pushing from here, so we can just average up. And if you just draw the trend line here, you can just make a small one, right? Maybe perhaps if they can clear this, we'll see. Break down where you see bros going. I have no idea where it goes. So no one does. And no one knows where it's going to go. No one knows if it's going to reverse. This is why we only focus on the risk, correct? So our current risk is 0.4%. If it doesn't go in our favor, we're going to lose 0.4% of our entire account. And if it starts working in our favor, we'll average up. And because right now it's easy to calculate, all right? Right? Let's assume your entry is 86.30. Right? You can take a notepad and write this down. So 86.30 is the entry. Stop was given at 81.50, correct? So 81.50 is your stop loss, right? So what is your total risk per share? So 86.30 minus 81.50, we're talking about $4.80 per share. That's how much you're risking. So let's say you buy 10 shares and you'll be losing $48. If I lost you there, just assume that, let's say you buy 10 shares on this, and if you get stopped out, you're going to lose $48. That's it. So you're going to lose $48. But if it starts working in your favor, and as it starts pushing higher and higher and higher, you can keep adding to your positions, and you're going to make your first trim once the stock price goes up $4.80 from your entry. Why $4.80? Because that was your risk when you entered the trade. So if the stock price goes up $4.80 from your entry, you would have made what you could have lost if you've gotten stopped out in profits. So if the stock goes up $4 or $90 from here, which means you will be up $48. That was the money which you will be potentially losing if you are wrong. So that is where you start trimming. You're going to take some profits off the table right there. And let's say it starts going up 2 times your stop losses, which is $9.60 from your entry to the upside. Then you're going to make your second trim. By trimming, what I mean is taking some profits off the table. That's what I mean by trimming. Because I got this question before, like, what does trimming mean? This is what I mean. So when I say I'm going to trim some of my positions, what I mean is I'm going to take some profits off the table. All right. So when it goes up $9.60 from my entry, I'm going to make the second cut. And once it gets towards that, we're talking about $14.40 mark. That's where I'll be closing majority of our positions, which means if the stock goes up $14 from my entry price around that $100 flat mark, that's where the positions, the entire positions will be closed. So now we risk $4.8 with stop loss, and we captured somewhere around $14 to the upside on the stock move. And we just let the markets do the work. And do I know if it's going to go there? No, no one does. And I'm not going to bullshit you into telling that I know what's going to. No one does. No one knows what's going to happen. That is why the only focus is on how much we will lose if you're wrong, and not on how much we will make if you're right. One we have control over, other we don't. I want to say thank you for all your help. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate it. All right, with that being said, Expedia, well, we'll wait for today's close and deal with it. Tesla doing absolutely nothing, just ping-ponging around between ORB highs and ORB lows, and let them figure it out, whatever it is they're going to do, and we can deal with it down the line. SPY, same thing. So right now, let's see. Testing the VWAP by the looks of it on SPY and still under the ORB lows. So we'll wait and see what the SPY does. And we'll deal with it down the line. And YUM consolidating flat, affirm, trying to break through the overnight highs. We'll see if they can push towards that 82 to $83. Mid 82s is what we're looking at. And IBM. When did we talk about it, Josh? Like, I think you bought it somewhere around 256 and change, correct? If I'm not wrong. Last Thursday. So if you bought it around 256 and change, and if you want to average up, be cautious, and because it's one of the another Dow 30 name, let them clear the VWAP perhaps, and whatever sizing you have. I would much rather, if I was you, I would just keep the exact sizing and don't average up on this name at this moment. So let the positions which you already have do the work, because at this point, there's no point in averaging up here at this moment. So I just don't see it. This is not something exceptional in this name, and it's one of the Dow 30 components. If it continues to goes up anyway, 265, just follow the same rule. Don't look for averaging up. And if they come back towards 257 and find buyers, then that's a different story, because they'll be tagging the 5-day moving average again. And if they continue to push up, maybe perhaps you can add more, but you have to tighten your stop loss to a point where, like, around 254 and change, you will be having a low risk entry over there for averaging up. Right now, averaging up is going to affect your cost average and also increase the risk which is exposed if you're wrong. Not worth it. So for now, leave it alone. If they come back down towards 256 to 255 down the line, maybe perhaps it's going to offer us an opportunity. Alrighty. So with that being said, thank you for tuning in. Yeah. All right. Hold up. Can you talk about a good time to average up on SOC before? Hold up. Let me go over it. Good time to average up on SOC will be if they wait for the 5-day moving average to catch up to the price, man. Not right here. You see the distance between the current where the price is and where the 5-day moving average is. So let them catch up. So for now, just keep the initial sizing on, and if they average up right here, and if they pull back towards the 5-day moving average, well, they're still in an uptrend, but you're still going to panic because you sized up significantly higher at random areas. Only average up if you see the price log a higher low on the shorter time frames. Right now, just stick with the initial positions. And you can notice when we average up on DocuSign, why do I always say DocuSign? Bros down the line, by the way. Right now, there's no reason. For now, just stick to the initial positions. And if the 5-day moving average pull up towards the price, you can deal with it down the line. So with that being said, so thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. Really appreciate it. And if you guys are interested in one-on-ones, feel free to reach out. And I do have some scheduled open slots available for this week. We can talk more. Have a great rest of the day. Take care. Bye-bye. Peace.